Welcome back. It's Wednesday's lesson, and I'm reminded of this idea that the Jewish leaders and some atheists today tried to claim that the resurrection, well, it's fake news. Here's the thing. The resurrection is not fake news. Look at what Peter says about the resurrection. It's Acts 3:14 and 15. You rejected this holy righteous one and instead demanded the release of a murderer. You killed the author of life, but God raised him from the dead, and we are witnesses of this fact. Peter says, I'm a witness to the fact that you killed Jesus. I witnessed that, but I'm also here to give witness to the fact that God raised him from the dead. Great testimony. But how do we know it's true? Well, enter Chuck Colson, who ended up in prison because of his connection to President Nixon and the Watergate scandal. Chuck Colson says that during the Watergate investigation, a number of people turned on Nixon and testified against him because nobody was willing to go to jail to protect Nixon's lies. Do you follow this? Nobody was willing to go to jail to protect a lie. Here's what Colson now preaches. I know the resurrection is a fact, and Watergate proved it to me. How? Because 11 men testified that they had seen Jesus raised from the dead, and they proclaimed that truth for 40 years, never once denying it. Everyone was beaten, tortured, stoned, and put in prison. They would have not endured that if it were not true. Watergate embroiled 12 of the most powerful men in the world, and they couldn't keep alive for 3 weeks. You're telling me the apostles could keep alive for 40 years? Absolutely impossible. Now think about this. The disciples died for this testimony. Do you think Chuck Colson's point that nobody in the history of lies has ever been willing to die to protect a lie? And yet all of the apostles who witnessed the resurrection of Jesus died as a result of preaching the resurrection. Fake news is a type of propaganda that consists of deliberate misinformation that is spread with the intent to damage an agency or a person in order to obtain a financial or political advantage. The same men who fled from the cross in order to protect their lives are now willing to die in order to preach the resurrection. Peter said, we witnessed this and it changed our lives. You can beat us, imprison us, you can even torture and kill us, but the truth will remain the same, that Jesus you killed, he rose from the grave. And the fact of the matter is, 10 out of the 11 died to preach the resurrection. The last one, John the Revelator, died in prison, in large part because he too wouldn't stop preaching the resurrection. And you have to ask, what is so powerful about the resurrection that these men were willing to die to preach it? Because of the cross and the resurrection, they are the very means by which God uses to save us and transform us. And the disciples, they experienced it. Well, again, that was our nugget for today. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow.